Hey guys, how the hell are you? Welcome back once again to Arnold Drinks, and welcome to the first episode of Sample Bottle Saturday. So, this is something that I've decided to start because I've been getting a little bit of sample bottles here and there from some of my bros, and just wanted to roll this out to you guys. So, strap in, this is a good one. So tonight, courtesy of Alex from Chef Bar, a pop-up bar here in the Austin, Texas area. Thank you so much, Alex. I appreciate you very, very much for gracing me with this because I'm super stoked for this. He gifted me a little sampler of Willett 8-year Wheated. So, for those of you guys that don't know, this is that fabled new purple top bottle that went out there that looked all super nice and fancy, black with the gold lettering. $250 is the price point for that particular bottle. It is 108 proof, and the mash bill is 65% corn, 20% wheat, and 15% malted barley. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Willett. In general, I like pretty much everything that they do of the stuff that I've had. Admittedly, I haven't had everything, but I've had some great stuff that has come from that distillery, so I am a fan. I consider myself a fan. However, I've actually never had any of the purple top stuff, which I've heard is mind-blowing. So, this is literally my first foray into that, so let's dive in together. Thank you once again, Alex, for gifting me with this very, very special opportunity, and hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. So there's definitely something sugary sweet on the aroma, something very confectionery. Little berryish in there too. Ever so slightly grainy. Bit of chocolate in there too, like an American single malt, like just has a little bit of doughiness to there. Admittedly, this is a high amount of malted barley in this mash bill, so I get it that might be coming through too. That is very interesting. That's very weird, actually. There is an interesting funk on that. Almost like a berry note that's just starting to turn sour. And now I'm actually getting just a hint of nuttiness on that too. That's interesting. There's a lot going on there. But one thing I'm gonna state already that's a little bit interesting and not the best way is that I kind of expected, for this being a Willett purple top and for being a $250 MSRP, I expected this to be punching me in the face with aroma. I expected this to be a lot more potent. Kind of like how my bottle of Foregate is like really, really in your face. Kind of like how a scotch that I've yet to do a review on this channel also kind of punched me in my face at that same price point. This is not doing that. It's considerably more subtle. See, now after I've talked a little bit and gone back into it, I'm actually getting a little bit more of that kind of wheat grain note along with that too. Like sometimes I get on like normal Maker's Mark stuff. All right. Cheers, everybody. Let's go in. Ooh, that is... Ooh boy, that is giving me some intense notes of a few things and some less than ideally subtle notes of a few other things. So, alright, right from the word go, like the chocolate and the dough and the sort of confectionery sugar, that sort of candy note comes through very forward in the front of the palate. It's not super big and bold like I was hoping it would be, admittedly, but it's definitely there. It's definitely present. Super sweet, confectionery sugar. The chocolate that I'm getting on it is much less of like like the kind of chocolate you would get from American single malt. But don't get me wrong, there is definitely some chocolate notes there. Also some of the dough notes too. Let's go back in. But then, just as it hits mid-palate, that's when I start getting a little bit more fruit in there. Like, just a little bit. There's like, oh God, what is that? It's like I'm getting notes of both, like, a sort of, like, let's call it fig. Like a little bit of a fig note that's in there, like a Fig Newton kind of thing. But then also a little bit of maybe honeydew melon is in there as well. And then as it goes to the back of the palate, that's when this candy-ish cinnamon just starts to really creep in. I shouldn't even say candy-ish, because I've had some really candied cinnamon notes. Like recently I tried a Still Austin store pick that had beautiful big red cinnamon notes. Same thing with a Maker's Mark private selection store pick that I recently had that had huge big red chewing gum cinnamon notes. This is not that candied. This is more like kind of a halfway point between candied cinnamon and more of like a baking cinnamon kind of thing. It's kind of right in the middle. Let's go in again. That proofage is definitely helping to elevate a few notes too. Like, I have every bit of faith that if it didn't have that 108 proofage on it, this would not be near as cinnamony and near as chocolatey. I have a feeling those would be significantly muted. It's just, this thing is definitely tasting significantly brighter than I expected it to. Granted, it is a weeder, but it is really bright. It's not that rich. It's interesting, it's different, it's cool, but if you were to ask me, like, okay, let's say one of these bottles comes across my peripheral at retail price, so I'm able to buy one of these bottles at $2.50, I would not buy it. I would not pull the trigger on that. I have had several bottles under the $100 price point that smoke that, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, it's an awesome whiskey, but it would be an awesome whiskey at a $90 price point. At a $250 price point, that is kind of an outrageous waste of money, in my opinion. It's damn good, it's damn delicious, I just don't see the value there. But all the same, that was still an experience. It was great to finally get my hands on a Willett Purple Top and to actually finally try one. It is damn delicious. Like, it's the kind of thing where if someone were to gift me a bottle of this, I would not sneeze at that whatsoever. If I was to suddenly find one of these things like dramatically cheaper price point because of the whiskey therein, I would wholeheartedly go for that. Like, this is probably one of the best $90 whiskeys I've ever had. The unfortunate thing is that it's in a $250 bottle. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel. Hopefully lots more of these sample bottle Saturdays to come. And as always, remember, take what you do seriously, but do not take yourselves too seriously.